Hello. What is big, gray, and lives in California? I know you all are just dying to know. So this worksheet is about finding the volume, and we are going to write the letter of the exercise in the box above the answer at the bottom of the page. So for example, whatever we get for the answer for A, we're going to come down here, find our answer at the bottom, and write the letter A. If you get an answer that is not listed at the bottom, that means you did something wrong and you need to go back and check your math and check your formula. Alright, so we have all different types of prisms. We have rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, and then a couple funky ones down here, and I'll show you how to do those. It's really not that hard. Remember, when we're finding volume, all we need to do is find the area of the base times the height. For rectangular prisms, this is pretty easy. For triangular prisms, we just need to make sure that we use the right numbers to find the area of the base versus the height of the whole prism. All right, let's get started. We will start with letter A over here. And to find the the volume of a rectangular prism, we can go to our formula sheet. So we come over here. And our formula sheet, you just want to find the picture that's the same. So for example, I'm not going to use any of these two-dimensional figures because I have a three-dimensional problem I'm working on. The other key is we are looking for volume. So you want to find something that says V equals. You don't want area or perimeter, you want volume. So in this case, volume equals length times width times height. Remember, when your letters are all squished together, that means multiplication. So all we have to do is multiply our three sides. All right, let's get started. So we can make our length 4.5. We can make our width 6. And our height is 5.8. So I'm going to do the work over here. To find volume, it's very easy. Volume equals length times width times height. So 4.5 times 6 times 5.8. And again, if you notice, we found the area of our base, which is a rectangle, so we just said length times width, and then we multiplied it by our height. You can do that with any figure you have, any three-dimensional figure. For volume, it's very simple. So I am going to grab my handy-dandy calculator, and we're going to say 4.5 times 6 times 5.8, length times width times height. And it's 156.6. So my answer for this one is 156. So we're going to say volume equals 156.6. See, just like that. Okay? So what you would do now is you would come down here to the bottom, and this is going to be centimeters. Let me write that down. Because it's volume and we're multiplying three dimensions, we're going to say centimeters cubed. So all volume is cubed. So we're going to come down here. My ink will follow me. And I will find 156, there it is, 0.6 centimeters cubed, and you would write the letter A in this box right here. Okay, makes sense? All right, I'm going to clear this out, and we'll go back up here and look at the next one. Okay, I did open a separate sheet of paper over here because I think it'll be easier to keep all of our numbers straight. Alright, so here we have a triangular prism. See, it's got two triangles. Here's my top triangle, my bottom triangle, and it has rectangles all the way around. That's how you can tell the difference between a triangular prism and a pyramid, because a pyramid would come to one point and you would have triangles everywhere. This is a triangular prism. So if we come over to our handy-dandy formula sheet, let's find our triangular prism. And it's right down here. See, here's a good example. Pyramid, everything comes to a point. In a prism, you have rectangles all the way around, so it's a little bit more boxy. Volume equals big B times height. And what the big B means is the area of the base. That's why it's shaded gray. And if you forget that on your test, it's okay. Area of base right there. So I'm going to write this. We'll choose a different color. Let's see, blue. So if I'm looking for my triangular prism, I want volume equals big B times H. And again, that's just what I've been saying about all of them, which is the area of the base times the height. Now, how do we find the area of a triangle? Now you can go back up here. The area of a triangle, so in other words, what big B is actually going to equal, the area of a triangle is half base times height. And see here they use a little b because they just want the base of the triangle, not the big base of the whole thing. So I'll show you what I mean by this. Okay, so if we look at letter T, all right, let's see, here we go. Let me get some colors going on here. Make sure it's aligned. Yep. Okay, so do you guys see this triangle right here? You see this guy? This is going to be our base. So when we're talking about the area of this is the little base and this is the little height for just this triangle. This 8 over here is the height of the whole thing. So we're going to use that, but this is going to be the height of the entire prism. So this is going to be this H right here we're talking about. So we're going to make, oh, not orange, let's try red. There we go. This is going to be the height of the whole prism. These guys over here, this little b and h is just for your triangle. All right. So I'm going to set it up for you, but I'm not going to actually do the work. So this is for letter T. Okay. And we're going to say, first, let's find our base, our big B. And remember, that's this formula, half the base times the height. So do not just multiply these three things together. That's not going to work. You have to find the area of this first, which means you have to take half. If you multiplied those three numbers together, you would find a prism, a rectangular prism, not a triangle prism. Triangle is half. So we're going to say 1/2 times the base of the triangle, which is 10, times 4. So that's your big B. You're going to multiply all this together and get an answer. You're going to take this and you're going to multiply it to the 8, to the height of the triangular prism. Okay? So 1/2 times 10 times 4, that'll give you this answer, and then this answer times 8 will give you your final volume answer that you need for the worksheet. And these are going to be meters cubed. Everything is cubed no matter what the picture is. Everything is cubed when you're talking volume. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. And we'll use the same colors to kind of make it work together here. So if we're looking at letter N, again, here's our triangle. And you can use your highlighter or pencil or whatever on the test to help you really see it like this. And then so here's the height of the triangle and the base of the triangle that you need for the first part. And then this right here is your height of the whole thing. So that's the height here. And then we have our base and our height of the triangle. So if I come over here, letter N, we're going to say, again, we want to find big B first, and that's just the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 times base times height. So we're going to say 1/2 times the big base, let's see, times 8, which is the base of the triangle, times 3, which is the height of the triangle. We're going to multiply, and we're going to figure this out first. So 1 divided by 2 times 8 times 3. And then you're going to multiply that to the height of the whole prism, which in this case is 6.4. Make sense? All right, those go together, and that's going to be centimeters cubed for your volume for letter N. All right, for another letter A over here, and I'll just do it to the side. We'll make it green. So remember, volume of a rectangular prism is simply length times width times height. This one you can just multiply all three numbers because it's the whole rectangular prism. In a triangular prism you have to take half because it's a triangle. So here for volume you would just say 30, right? We can make this our length. This can be our width. This can be our height. So 30 times 20 times 25. Just multiply those three numbers in a row, hit equals at the end, and that's going to be inches cubed. I think you guys are pretty set on this from what we've talked about. You guys know volume pretty well. It's the triangular prisms that are going to be a new shape for you. Alright, so let's go over here to letter P. Now you see how they give you this right angle triangle here at the bottom? So here is, now this is a right triangle, right? So we have our two legs and then our hypotenuse. So this is going to be the height of the triangle, and this is going to be the base of the triangle. This is going to be the height. 25 is the height of the whole prism. So let's go ahead and mark some stuff here. This is the height of the whole prism. So let's go ahead and make sure we mark that as well so you guys can tell. I do more work on these worksheets so that you can learn while you're practicing. You don't have to make as many highlights if you don't need them on your paper. But it does help, especially when it's, you know, a bunch of lines or whatever, to really like, okay, what am I looking at for my height and my base? Alright, so we have letter P. And again, we need to find big B first, and that's the area of the triangle. 1/2 times the little base, right? So times 20 times the little height, which is 30. So 1 divided by 2 times 20 times 30. You take that answer, and we're going to multiply that to the height of the entire prism, which is 25. So times 25. And that will give you your answer for the volume of the whole thing, which in this case is going to be inches cubed. Okay? Alright, let's look at A. So the first thing you want to do when it's looking for either volume or surface area, when it comes to a triangular prism, is figure out what numbers go to the triangle part and what goes to the whole prism. So again, we have our right angle. 6.2 is going to be the height of the angle. 9.6 is going to be the base. And then we have 12 centimeters over here. That's the height of the prism. That's the last one we're going to use. So let's go ahead and label our things. So we have our little height right here and our little base over here. And then we're going to have the larger base here. Okay? All right. So letter A. So we want to find big B first. So that's the area of a triangle, 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2, and we're talking the base and height of the blue triangle, this piece down here, just the base of the whole prism. So that's going to be 9.6 times 6.2. All right, so 1 divided by 2 times 9.6 times 6.2. You multiply all that together, and then we multiply it finally by the height of the entire prism, which in this case is 12. Those two things go together, and we have volume equals centimeters cubed. Okay? All right. All right, let's see here. All right, so for this guy over here, how about this? I'm going to skip N and L for right now. Let's go ahead and do H because it's also a triangular prism. I can put it over here. Then I'm going to clear out the screen to show you N and L. It's not hard because look right here. They already give us what the big B is. So we don't need a formula. And we know that you multiply the area of the base, big B, times the height. So these two are actually the easiest two on here once you understand how to find volume. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do H over here, and then we'll come back and do N and L. So as you can tell, all these other triangular prisms were standing up. Okay, this one is laying down, but you do the same thing. You find the triangle. You see that? That's the triangle. If I were to tilt this up and stand it on its side, this would be the bottom part. So we have our height, the little height. See how it points to this line? You have to have a right angle for a height. So we have our little height right here, and we have our base right here. Even though it's laying down, this piece over here, the 8.5, this is the height of the triangle. Even though it's laying down, some people get confused. That is actually the height of the triangle. Okay, so that's the height of the prism. Here's the height of the triangle and the base of the triangle. So we'll go ahead and do letter H over here. Again, please find the big B first, the area of the base. It's nice when they give it to you, but we can figure it out because we know the formula. 1/2 times base times height. It's the formula for a triangle. So 1/2 times 6 times 5. Okay, you multiply that together, and then you're going to multiply it lastly to this 8.5. And that's the height of the prism. You put all that together, and this is going to give you the volume in inches cubed. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now I want you to take a look at N and L. Oh, let me get rid of that. All right, let's take a look at N and L. I'm going to use green here just so we can see. If you look here, right, this is our base. What shape is this? Do you guys know how many sides are? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a pentagonal prism. You will not have anything like this on your test, but when it comes to volume, if they give you the base, it's very easy. Volume of any shape is the area of the base times the height. That is it. Can't make it any easier. So the height of the whole prism stays the same, right? So this guy right here, just like we used red and all our others, this is the height of the prism. right here. And then our base, they gave it to us right here. See, this is our base. So all you have to do to find volume of letter N is multiply those two numbers. Big B, which is 52, times the height, which is 7.5. Now if this were surface area, it'd be a lot more complicated because you have to figure out the area of this and the area of that and then the area of each rectangle. But in this case, volume is very simple. You just multiply those two things together and that's going to give you meters cubed. You see how big B, they already have meters squared. So meter squared times one more meter is going to be meters cubed. Let's look at our last one over here. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a hexagonal prism. We've seen these before. You find it the same way. There's your base, and then here is your height. Right? So if this is my height right here, and then in green down here, I'm going to have my base. This is the base. It's already done. This is the area of the base, capital B. So to find the volume for this guy, we simply say volume equals, and we multiply 19.7 times 4.3. That's all you have to do if they give you big B. Now if they don't give you big B, then you have to find the formula and do it that way. So you multiply those two things together, and this is going to be centimeters cubed. And that's all there is to it, honestly. It's very simple to find volume. Volume's the easiest thing to find when looking. All right, pause the video, write this down. I want to show you one more thing on the formula sheet, but this is everything you need to know for the worksheet. So pause the video, make sure you have all this. I'm going to clear it out. And I want to look at the formula sheet real quick. If you've noticed, volume, look right here. Volume, pi r squared times h. How do you find area of a circle? Look right here. Do you guys see this? This area formula right here? That's how you find area of a circle. Well, look at this part right here. It's the exact same thing. Area of the base times the height. Same thing. Here, they use big B. Rather than writing the formula 1/2 times base times height again, they use a capital B for the area of the base. It might be helpful when you get your formula sheet, go ahead, write down for this one, capital B equals 1/2 times little b times h. So that you remember when you're, on a number and you're tired and don't want to do it, you remember, oh wait, I need to do this formula. Look over here at our pyramid. You see this big B? This is the area of the square. You guys all know how to find area of a square, right? So for this one, I would write big B equals length times width, because that's all it is, length times width. Okay, and actually you have to use it twice because you need it for surface area. A cone, again, look what we have right here. Same area formula that we used for a cylinder, same formula that we used for area of a circle. Formulas aren't hard, they have to come from somewhere. So the 1/3 for both the pyramid and the cone come from the fact that you can fit 3 of these guys into one cylinder. You can fit 3 pyramids into one rectangular prism. So we have to divide by 3 just to find one of them. But the area piece is the same. And then look, you always have your height. There's your height, there's your height, there's your height. You always have height. Look, you got it there too. And even here, You always multiply it by your height, because your height technically is how deep is it. So hope you guys watched this last part. I know it didn't have anything to do with the worksheet, but I really, you got to learn how to use your formula sheet because it has a lot of good information on it. So you need to learn how to use it. If you have any questions or anything, raise your hand. Thanks, guys.